On this Kabbalat Shabbat, I was looking in my Siddur after we turned back to accept the Shabbos, to receive the Shabbos, and I saw in the Siddur I was using, it said, during Boi Kala, you should turn to your right first, and then Boi Kala to your left, and some do in the middle afterwards as well. What do you do? Do you do right, left, or left, right, or do you think about it? What?
I think I do left and then right.
Left, what?
Left and then
Where it says to do it in there? Or so you do left and then right. Okay, so there are different customs in relation to it, apparently. The Siddur Yavet says that you should do it similar to Shemoneh Esrei. So when you're accepting Shabbos, it's like you're accepting a guest or accepting an important visitor. And so you're bowing, and you're bowing down to the right of the visitor of Shabbos. Or during Shemoneh Esrei, when you bow down to Hashem, you're bowing to Hashem's right. So you bow to your left, which is Hashem's right. Similarly, on Shabbos, you're welcoming in the guests, you bow down to their right, because that's the important side. Then you go to the right. So that's one approach, kind of seeing Shabbos as a guest, as a visitor. The other approach is the Kabbalah, which they say you should do right, then left, based on the Sefirot, which is a mystical reality. That perhaps is based on like more of a spiritual understanding of Shabbos, seeing Shabbos more as like a spiritual entity, less as like a personal connection. Another place where this debate kind of plays out is why we turn to the door, like where we turn at the end of Kabbalat Shabbat. You get up and you stand at Boi Kala and you face the west. So some Rabbanim, Prima Gadim says it's the same thing. You're welcoming in the guest, and so usually the synagogue's facing east, and the door is to the west, and you're welcoming in the guest. The interesting thing is, let's say the door's on east. The door's on the north. Let's say. So perhaps according to that explanation, if the whole reason why we turn around to welcome in the guest is because you're facing the door, you might have to turn to the north, right? That there's some say it like that. But another explanation is based on the Arizal, the Kabbalah, seeing it less as inviting in a person, a persona, or an interpersonal experience, but more a spiritual reality, is that they used to go to the field. And they used to go to the fields, and in the west was overall where the sun set. And so right when the sun set, they would welcome in Shabbos, kind of welcoming in the spiritual experience of Shabbos based on the natural order of things. So you see here perhaps the same debate, perhaps, that you could either see Shabbos as like a personal experience, as welcoming in a personal guest. That would point to like all the personal things we do to make Shabbos special. And that is reflected in two customs. One is the direction you bow. If you're welcoming in a guest, you're going to bow to their right first and to your left. And also facing a door, you're welcoming in the guest. And the other approach would be a more mystical approach, seeing Shabbos as like a mystical reality. And therefore you bow to your right, to your left, because that's according to the Sefirot. And similarly, you bow down to the west always, because that's thinking about Shabbos coming in at sunset. That would be like a spiritual experience. So I think those are like two aspects to Shabbos. Shabbos is going to come in no matter what. And we have to prepare ourselves and make ourselves ready. Now, if you're going to have that personal experience, welcoming in as a guest, that's another level. So those are two aspects of Shabbos that we experience. Shabbos as a spirituality, but also trying to make it as personal as we can, welcoming in as a guest. So both those opinions have two sides of the truth. And really, it's dependent on your custom.